Cause Before Symptom with your host, James Carner.
Tonight we're going to be talking about the spodumene belt. North Carolina was flooded for lithium and quartz. I'll prove it. Stick around. Welcome to Cause Before Symptom. I'm your host, James Carner. Sorry about the last couple of days. I've been at my gold mine, just dinking around. I had to assess the entire area and check it out and get my equipment down there. Lots to do. So little time. However, it's a pretty little mine, I gotta tell you. It's like gorgeous. It's got everything you want, like huge rocks on top of bedrock. The bedrock is exposed, and there's cracks everywhere where you can literally go up with a suction cup and then into your pan and then pan it out. Lots of cool stuff there. Now, it's been a mine for a long time. I'm sure people have cleaned all of the places where I would expect to go, so I'm probably not going to find anything right off the bat, and I don't expect to. I have to go down, get down to the bedrock on the sides. They call it high banking. Most of the time, people don't do that because the banks are caked with dirt and rock that are not wet. That's where you need a pick. Just anyway, lots of fun at the mine. I got a chance to get a little break too, so it was nice. And yes, thank you to Urban for filling in for me for the last 2 nights. Urban is the man, and it really looks like you guys like him. I appreciate that. I like Urban too. He's a good guy. Full of knowledge. Gives me ideas. I love it. And he fills in when I'm not around. Shout out to Edged and Amanda, Texas Militia Official. Claire and Boots is in the house, sparking a spleef and PLP. What is going on, guys? All right, let's get into this. It's going to be kind of a short one because, well, I was driving most of the day. But, oh my God. So, the Hurricane Helena shouldn't have went up that far. It literally was pushed on purpose. And I'm sure if you guys did some research, you would see on the radar where they track the hurricanes, there were these, not spirals, but circles, and within circles, where they're playing with the weather, pushing the storm up even further and further. That is true. It's fact. You can see it, and they're not even hiding it for some reason. I have no idea why. Perhaps they're just so far in their game, and there's nothing we can do, so they just continue doing it. And they were pushing this storm towards a place called the spodumene belt. Now, the spodumene belt is one of the most famous pure quartz crystal mines that hasn't been mined in a while, and they're trying to open up permits. It looks like they got them. And these types of quartz are used to make CPUs. And they're very good for the computer chips and for AI and for faster processing times. So this kind of stuff is very high in demand. And it is located right there on the spodumene belt, which is located 1,700 feet above sea level in the mountains. And it flooded. The spodumene belt hasn't flooded since 1916, where it was flooded on purpose in order to get ready to start mining. You see, dirt is harder to get out when it's dry. Really dry, especially down deep. And in order to get down to what you need to get down to, it would be great for the miners if you flooded that area. And because seriously, when you take a excavator and you scoop up dirt, if it's dry, it's almost like concrete. You just have to keep and try to get under a rock and then get up. Then you get and try to get under a rock. But when it's wet, it just easily just gets through there and pulls it out. So it's obvious, and the clues are out there on TikTok. And that area also includes a contract with Elon Musk for the lithium as well. And it's all located in the spodumene belt. And sure enough, it looks like I got cut off again every time. I don't know if you guys are freezing over on that end, but it looks like it's freezing on Rumble. Well, it was. Yeah, well, anyway. So there you have it. All right, we're back. Let's go ahead and get into this. North Carolina has the richest deposits of lithium and quartz crystals in the spodumene belt. Elon Musk secured the contract for the lithium and the quartz mine paperwork, and the paperwork is actually pending. The locals were blocking their mining. But half of the locals, it was like half and half, because some of them wanted to make money in the town, some of them didn't. But the locals were arguing back and forth. They were having a little bit of trouble. The locals that were really blocking them, well, their town is underwater. You don't mess with God or the one who plays God. Does that make sense? The locals, unfortunately, lost this battle because the locals were potentially harming a $530 billion opportunity in quartz crystals and lithium. Albermarle Kings Mountain is the location of the world's largest and purest quartz crystals, which are definitely needed to make AI chips. And Piedmont Lithium is waiting for state permits to mine in Gaston County near Cherryville. Gaston County, Cherryville, underwater. I got a map. I got a map. Okay, look on the blue one, the blue map in the back. There's a green and blue map. Look on the blue map down to the bottom right, and do you see Charlotte? Do you see Charlotte? Okay. Now, to the left of there, do you see that green line to the left of Charlotte where those two red, texts are pointing at areas? That whole green area right there, that's all quartz and lithium. Yeah. That whole green, they call that the Spudamon belt. All right. Now, look at the green map. Do you see where Charlotte is to the middle right? And do you see the flooding areas? Those are the circles that are glowing white. There are 4 circles, 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. Guess what they are in between? The Spudamon. Oh my God. Yeah, the spodumene belt. The spodumene belt. So in these circles, that's where the flooding is, okay? And then right down from the top down, from north to south, right in the middle is the spodumene belt. I mean, oh my God. Is it really that hard to just find this info. I put this show together in like 5 minutes. I kid you not. And this shows where the flooding is, and it's right where they're going to mine. There's no coincidences. So, the lithium industry has experienced a dramatic transformation over the years, don't you think? Since the 1960s, at least, primarily driven by advancements in battery technology. There are some key milestones it had in the 60s and 70s. There were limited applications back then, as lithium was primarily used in small-scale applications like ceramics, glass, and pharmaceuticals. Lithium. Yeah. And the price stability, due to the low demand, lithium prices remained relatively stable. In the 80s and 90s, there was a rise on lithium-ion batteries. Started to break through. The development of lithium-ion batteries started in the 80s, and it marked a turning point for lithium. Not only could you take it as a drug, you can use it to start your car. The growing demand and increased popularity of portable electronics like laptops and mobile phones fueled a large surge in the demand for lithium. And of course, with that came price fluctuations. As demand outpaced supply, lithium prices began to fluctuate a little bit more significantly, meaning it went up, but up and down, but it still went up. And then, of course, in the 2000s to now, the electric vehicle revolution started to make demand of lithium go higher, which came with an exponential growth. The emergence of electric vehicles as a viable transportation alternative has driven an unprecedented increase in lithium demand. And the price volatility has experienced significant fluctuations due to factors like supply constraints, geopolitical tensions, and market speculation. This is because lithium so far has been bought from Australia and I believe South America. Or in Brazil. Yeah, Brazil. One of those areas. I have it in my notes here. But not here, right? And it looks like we need to start mining it here. So that's why there are geopolitical tensions, because we, as America, with our army and our, I guess you could just call it bullying, we sometimes get our way. And as the price goes up and down, but still went up during the 80s and 90s to the 2000s, there was a consolidation of industries. Major companies have invested heavily in lithium mining and production, leading to increased industry consolidation. I did some research on just a few lithium mining companies, and their websites are gorgeous, meaning they've put a lot of money and effort into their website, and that means they have a lot of money. There are key companies and trends that are happening. Mining giants like Albermarle, Albemarle, Albemarle, and another company called Sociedad Química y Minera de Chile, or SQM, and Ganfeng Lithium have become major players in the lithium mining industry. And Albermarle, I believe, is the United States. I could be wrong. Albermarle probably is Australia. Battery manufacturers are buying from them. First up, Tesla. Second up, Panasonic. Third up, LG. Life's good. Are among the leading manufacturers of lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles and other applications. Technological advancements include research and development efforts focusing on improving the battery performance, reducing costs, and addressing sustainability concerns. Well, I don't know about you guys, but lithium batteries, they explode, especially in laptops, cars, you name it. But that doesn't stop the manufacturers from making money. No. Lithium prices have always been highly volatile with significant ups and downs over the past decade, but it is surging. In recent years, prices have reached record highs due to strong demand for EVs and concerns about supply shortages. And the future outlook looks good. The lithium industry it's expected to continue expanding on the demand for electric vehicles, and energy storage solutions will grow. Meaning, if you want to invest, you better invest in lithium companies that are mining in North Carolina. Right now, their stock's around $2. I think you'll easily make some money off of that. But I'm not an investment. I don't provide any. I'm not an expert in investing, but they flooded the area, and I got more proof how. But, I'm not an investment expert, so. Supply challenges, well, ensuring a stable and sustainable supply of lithium will be a key challenge for the industry in the coming years, except for in North Carolina. It's actually not in North Carolina. It's actually at the border of the south part of North Carolina, where the Piedmont belt is, whatever they call that. Piedmont. I'm not going there. And the technological innovations, obviously, I already said that. All right, so pricing trends. Historically, lithium prices have experienced fluctuations, but it keeps going high. And the demand is shifting with the geopolitical events. In the recent surge, prices have reached record highs, as we said. The future outlook is looking wonderful. The major producers there, as I said, were Gongfeng and Albermarle and Sociedad Química y Minera de Chile. And there's many more. And there are a significant portion of global lithium production where it's concentrated in South America, in Chile, Argentina, Australia, and China. So America wants to get into it, and it floods areas to do so. Several countries, including Canada, the United States, and Mexico, are exploring opportunities to expand their lithium production. Well, they're not exploring. They did it. It's over. I'll even prove that. Technological advancements, well, research and development, which we already talked about. Solid-state batteries, obviously. Extraction methods, well, companies are exploring more efficient and environmentally friendly methods of lithium extraction, such as direct lithium extraction, or DLE. Let's get real complicated, and this is a very hard way to do it, but I think we're going to do what's called the direct lithium extraction. Well, how do you do that? Well, we're just going to pull it out of the ground. All right. There are environmental and social impacts when it comes to lithium mining. In fact, it produces a giant hole. Lithium mining and production can have significant environmental impacts, including water consumption. Lots of water. Habitat destruction, well, they leave big holes. And they can affect local communities, leading to issues such as displacement, job creation, and potential conflicts over resource access, and flooding, which kills people and destroys towns. And the sustainability initiatives here, the industry is increasingly focused on promoting sustainable practices and minimizing its environmental footprint. Well, they're going to be leaving a big hole in Piedmont. Oh my God, what is that called again? It is the spodumene belt. Spodumene belt. Of all names, they have to call it spodumene. I mean, that just sounds like it's straight out of a romance novel. Sounds like... I'm just going to leave it there. Social impacts. We just said. Displacement of jobs, sustainability, we just said. Future outlook, well, it's looking good. So don't worry about it. Now, there have been corporate wars over lithium. Did you know this? The increasing demand for lithium, primarily driven by the electric vehicle revolution, well, it's kind of dying right now, has led to intense competition among companies vying for control of lithium resources and production capacity. Here are some notable examples of corporate wars over lithium. Albermarle versus SQM, which is that South America company. These two mining giants have been involved in a long-standing rivalry. Remember, you always have to have two big corporations to make it look like there is competition when they're all owned by the same people, right? That's Coke and Pepsi. You know, that's your Home Depot and Lowe's. I could go on and on. But they're all controlled by the same company. The same companies own the shares of it, or the majority of shares. It all leads back to Rome, but with a slight left, slight northwest, to the Vatican. Where it leads to London and Washington, D.C., the Tri-Cities of Satan. And yes, edged, they found plenty of water. You're getting ready to mine, you need that place flooded. Oh, and there's another hurricane heading its way. So yeah, Chile and Albermarle are suing each other all the time. Chinese companies versus Western rivals. Well, Chinese companies have been aggressively expanding their presence in the lithium market, competing with Western rivals for resources and production capacity. This has led to tensions and accusations of unfair trade practices. That's unfair. Sue me. Mergers and acquisitions are happening. Companies have engaged in mergers and acquisitions to consolidate their positions in the lithium industry to gain access to new resources and markets. This has resulted in significant changes in the industry landscape and the need to destroy North Carolina so that you guys can drive your electric cars and feel good about your carbon footprint. Patent disputes. Companies have also engaged in patent disputes over lithium-related technologies such as battery manufacturing processes and materials. These disputes can have a significant impact on market dynamics and innovation. But it didn't stop the hurricane and the cloud seeding and the ultrasonic sound waves that they use to create precipitation in those areas. These corporate wars have contributed to the volatility of lithium prices and overall competitive nature of the industry. It's dog eat dog out there, folks. As the demand for lithium continues to grow, we can expect to see further competition and big holes in the earth. Also, potential conflicts among companies vying for a share of this valuable resource. Well, maybe I should change from gold mining to lithium. The Piedmont Lithium project in Gaston County, North Carolina, faced significant opposition from various communities and elected officials. Can you believe it? While the project was centered in Gaston County, which is underwater, concerns were raised by residents and officials from neighboring counties as well. Yeah, you're going to leave a hole in the earth. Here are some of the key areas that expressed opposition. Gaston County themselves, they were divided on the project, with some commissioners and residents supporting it while others opposed it. Lincoln County, residents and officials there bordering Gaston to the west expressed concerns about potential environmental impacts and property value declines. Well, who wants to buy a house when your view is a hole in the earth? And then Mecklenburg County, some residents and officials in Mecklenburg County, the largest county in the region, also raised concerns about the project's potential impact on air quality and water resources. You see, when you start ripping up into lithium, which probably isn't the greatest stuff to get into your water supply. I'm just saying. When you're ripping all that shit up, your water supply from that hole spread out see, that's kind of why we bought it from other countries, you know, but we kind of pissed off a lot of them too. Note that the opposition to the project was not unanimous with these countries, or counties, sorry. There were also some supporters who believed that the mine could bring economic benefits to the region. Well, rob Peter to pay Paul. Ultimately, the project faced significant challenges due to the strong opposition from various communities and environmental groups, but it didn't stop them. You know what they did? They flooded those areas of the people who complained the most. You're gone. You're done. You're done. Lithium mining can create large open pits. These pits are formed as miners excavate the rock or are containing or have contained lithium. The size of these pits can vary significantly depending on the scale of the mining operation and the geological characteristics of the deposit. Well, we know what it looks like. It's a belt. So they're going to make many holes in the belt. Here are some examples of lithium mines with large-scale open pits. Greenbushes Mine, Australia. This is one of the world's largest lithium mines and features a significant open pit. All right? It's huge. It would take 1,000 years for a rain to fill that pit. And then the Salar de Atacama in Chile, this salt flat is home to several lithium mines, including SQM's operations, which involved extracting lithium from brine pools. Brine pools. I said brine spools. Brine pools. While not technically an open pit, the brine extraction process can create large depressions in the salt flat. There have been some environmental concerns associated with the Greenbushes mine in Australia. Oh, say it isn't so. One of the main issues is the impact on groundwater resources. Groundwater, like Australia, needs a mine like that. I mean, don't they always have water problems? The mine is located in a region with limited water resources, and there have been concerns about the potential for groundwater contamination from mining activities. Time to move out of North Carolina, folks. Don't worry about it, though. They already put chemicals in your water anyway, so adding lithium to it probably won't be that bad. Not. To address this, the mine has implemented measures to monitor groundwater quality and manage water usage. We're going to monitor it, and then we're going to tell you not to use it. There you go. That's what we're doing. We have implemented environmental management plans. Oh, we got one guy. His name's Joe. He goes in and he basically dips a little spoon in the creek, puts it in the thingy, shakes it, and goes, oops, shit. You can't use it right now. That's what they do. In fact, now would be a great time to start a business that tests for lithium in water. In North Carolina, you make thousands of dollars. Additionally, the mine has faced criticism for the impact of the local environment. This includes concerns about habitat destruction, dust pollution, and the potential for acid mine drainage. Oh, shit. Didn't think about that. Yeah, acid mine drainage. Wow. The company has implemented environmental... yeah. They literally, there's that. Well, we've implemented environment management plans to minimize these impacts, but there remains a debate. Now, the Salar de Atacama, Chile, is a significant source of lithium and has faced environmental issues as well. One of their issues is impact on water resources. The salt flat, located at the high-altitude desert region with limited water availability. Lithium extraction can deplete groundwater resources and affect local ecosystems, including flamingos and other wildlife that rely on those water sources. Oh, shit. It's like, what are those? Oh, yeah, my, they're space balls. Oh, shit. There goes the planet. Another concern is the potential for soil and water contamination from these mining activities. The use of chemicals in the extraction process can lead to the release of pollutants into the environment. I don't know if you guys know this, but machines are getting bigger. Okay? It's not like mining in the 50s where you had big machinery and you had enough big machinery, but no, they had to quadruple the size of dump trucks and excavators, and the excavators they have, they're like a football field in size, and they just chew the earth as they spin. And just, arr, 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 arr. And yeah. And they're going to do that in North Carolina? Wow. And it's ready to go, folks. It is wet and ready to start the first shovel. Additionally, there have been concerns about the impact on local communities that rely on the salt flat for livelihoods. Well, not anymore. Mining operations can displace communities and affect traditional ways of life. Well, in North Carolina, they made do with that. They said, well, if they're not going to move, flood it. Oh, and by the way, the flood is in the mountains, 1,700 feet above sea level, and the communities up there had no flood insurance. Why? Because it hasn't flooded there since 1916. Now, despite the challenges, the Chilean government has implemented regulations to protect the environment and ensure that mining operations are carried out sustainably. Sure. Sustainability, my ass. Have you got any of you fallen for the climate change bullshit? Sustainability is just stop it all. Stop lithium mining, stop oil, just stop it all. Go to free energy that Tesla invented that you killed him for. And we don't need any of that shit. Or go to hydrogen. But no, you see, this is what Satan does. He's going to suppress free technology and chew up the earth because, well, it's fun to him. He loves to steal, kill, and destroy, and this is how you do it. And the elders of Zion, they know this. And they're just like, fuck it. We need to make a shekel. And that's what they're doing. The storm that hit North Carolina was directed there using energy weaponry. It's so obvious because their rings were detected for all to see on satellite images. I saw them on Glamham via TikTok, who monitors things like this. She's a gal who also sells ham radios. She's a cool chick. She used to be an actress. Anyway, I like her because she puts out facts. She's just monitoring what she sees on satellite images and radar images and saying, well, that's weird. And then flooding. Now, I've heard all kinds of rumors that the elite, or the white hats, one or the other, the good or the bad, okay? Again, that the elite or the white hats, one or the other, are trying to flood out the underground bunkers there. Apparently, there's a huge cave system underneath that flooding zone. That's just not the simplest explanation. I don't buy it. Yes, I believe there are underground cities. Yes, I believe that there are railroads with like bullet trains or some kind of high-speed electromagnetism crap that can get you, on the East Coast in 3 hours. I believe that. From the West Coast to the East Coast. But I don't believe that this was the bad guys flooding out the good guys. I just don't. It doesn't make any sense. Now, Gaston County is 587 to 1,700 feet above sea level, and it is mountainous. Mountains. And the last flood was in 1916. I went to the website arcadiumlithium.com, which, as I was looking at the map, Arcadium Lithium was right there in the middle of the county that's underwater. And their stock, ALTM, just started trading January of this year. Now, I doubt that their building got flooded. I doubt it. Doubt it. But their stock this year started at $7 and it's now at $2.66. Now, like I said, I'm not an investor, but I bet this company is going to be rich and that stock is going up. So if you want to double your investment, simply go to Arcadium Lithium and invest there. Because World War III isn't coming. Not yet. I mean, you guys think so because Israel is being bombed by Iran. Well, tell us something we haven't heard before. This happens all the time. Israel is always under attack because they're a bunch of pricks. Now, Piedmont Lithium in May of 2024 received the finalized mining permit for the construction, operation, and reclamation of Carolina Lithium, following the posting of a $1 million reclamation bond to the state of North Carolina. So, Piedmont Lithium, ready to go. They got approved, and the bond's only $1 million shekels. Oh. You'd think that a $550 billion investment would be a little bit more on a bond. Just $1 million. 1 million shekels. Wow. The North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality's Division of Energy, Mineral, and Land Resource approved the permit application April 12th, 2024. Yeah, that's when the shit hit the fan. And also, in North Carolina, people are finding blue balls. No, not because they're not having sex. It's blue balls of sodium polyacrylate, or polyacrylate, which is a substance used in gardens and diapers to absorb water. It has an impact on temperature, to be used for cooling and deflecting. It's not biodegradable and it doesn't decompose. However, droplet mixing using a piezoelectric transducer, which is a type of acoustic transducer or sonar, sound wave, that converts the electrical charges by some forms of some forms of solid material like sodium polyacrylate. Well, it turns that into electrical charges by some forms of solid materials, and it turns it into energy or electricity caused by pressure. So the Air Force are dumping these blue balls into the air. Sad day. And they're used in cloud seeding materials for silver iodide, using ultrasonic devices to get them to soak up the water from areas around it into these balls, and using sound waves break them as they cause precipitation. It also uses materials like quartz. So if there's quartz under the ground, the water with the blue balls and the silver iodide and the ultrasonic devices, it makes it rain, baby! Big time. So, when was the last time you've been in a mountain and it flooded? When was the last time you got flooded out of a mountain? You see, the water is always at the bottom where the levee is. And as Led Zeppelin said, if it keeps on raining, the levee's going to break. Well, it just doesn't rain that much in the mountains, and there hasn't been a flood in that area since 1916 when they started doing mining, which they could cloud seed back then. Don't be fooled. Cloud seeding has been around for a very long time. And as these guys use quartz crystal to generate an electric charge through applied mechanical pressure, those balls get big. Big balls. You know what happens to blue balls when they get big? They explode. So, these companies are investing they're investing billions of dollars into this. They're going to make billions more, okay? These companies are huge. Why would they want to risk World War III right now? Start that right now. That they just use to manipulate the weather and push us people out. It doesn't make any sense. So I believe this whole BB thing and this World War III thing is not related, but these companies wouldn't seed the clouds, make it rain, get ready to start mining if they knew that war was on the horizon. Does that make sense? Because that would cut back on their mining. Now, you could mine during a war, may even make more money, but that's a given. Most likely no, unless the army needs lithium. So I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. And that's how I feel.
We are exposing the hidden culprits behind your constant fatigue and brain fog. This is going to blow your mind. No, really. If you're always tired, chugging coffee, and missing out on life, it's because you're exhausted. Listen up. It's not just you. It could be your gut. Your brain fog and fatigue might actually be due to dormant good bacteria in your gut, and that makes it hard to flush parasites and heavy metals, the real villains here. Crazy, right? The Invisible Threat research team found that these toxins can mess up your energy and focus big time. We've got a free report that spills all the details. Or skip straight to action with Elite Potions Detox Kit. Packed with non-GMO, organic ingredients, it kills parasites and binds to heavy metals. Listen to Robert from Las Vegas.
I just turned 50 and felt 20 again after using it. My heliopath approved it.
Modern diseases often trace back to these toxins. So why not give it a shot? Detox now and feel the difference. Order now and reclaim your energy.
If you're looking for a publication that delivers honest takes and critical insights into the issues of our day, then look no further than The Flame Paper. The Flame Paper is written for the people, by the people, who aren't afraid to challenge a mainstream narrative, be it healthcare, voter fraud, political correctness, or even the one world government. The Flame is full of timely articles, reports, and expert advice written by freedom-loving, truth-telling experts, journalists, and concerned citizens. To subscribe, go to theflameusa.com.
Go to The Flame, guys, and sign up to Elite Potion. Save your life. Do it. I'm on it. You should be on it, too. All right, guys. Tonight, we are going to be doing what's called Q&A. Yep, that's right. Q&A, meaning I'm going to answer my audience questions. So, there are 28 of you right now watching me tonight. And I am here to answer your questions. So go ahead and go to the live chat on Rumble and type in your question, and I will answer it to the best of my ability. Meanwhile, I'm going to pull up the local news and give you guys my stupid, dumb opinion. Well, apparently Walz and Vance going in depth on policy while attacking each other during running mate competition. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter if Harris or Trump is in office. The Washington, D.C. is just a show. It's a company, and they make up this whole thing of senators, congressmen, and all that. It's all bullshit. They've been playing this game since at least 1871, when we filed for bankruptcy for the second time, and we're under the rule of the crown, period. And I've told you, if you want a source, go to Russell-J. Gould or go to lastflagstanding.com. He's the source. He has the paperwork. He says he has it. Where America, when we were in debt, $3 million after the Civil War, we took a loan, and there were provisions, and the provisions were you're going to be a debt nation, and you're going to turn into a debt commodity, and you're going to be traded on the stock market. And that's exactly what happened. That's why we all have Social Security numbers. And by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but the number one money source for everything America makes. America makes about $28 trillion a year. That's how much we make. That's gross, not net. Gross means before you start playing with the taxes. The biggest one that takes a chunk out of our money, that pulls it out, it's not the military, believe it or not. It's Social Security. It's Social Security. That pulls the most money out of America every year and, well, once a month, given to those who are on Social Security. We owe $35 trillion. We make $28 trillion. Now, Biden administration this year, or throughout his administration, they've built more of a army of an IRS, arming them, giving them a little bit more authoritarianism. And what that leads to is $5 trillion that they have actually collected on top of what they normally collect from the people. So that means with mob-style tactics, the IRS has been able to get an extra $5 trillion a year. Now, that would be great, but this is where the money goes. We still are $2 trillion over. If we get that $5 trillion and we put it back into the economy, which I highly doubt they would. Anyway, that means we could pay off $5 trillion of that debt, and we'd be back at 32 trillion, but we still only make 28 trillion a year. So it seems that the government can just barely survive at 2 trillion over the GDP. Meaning you bring in $28 trillion a year, but you're borrowing more than you make. That doesn't make any sense. It's unsustainable. And this is the reason why the Federal Reserve, lowered interest rates. They lowered interest rates because they had to hold on as long as they possibly could because of inflation. Then they lowered interest rates, and they think that's going to help, but it's not, because they only lowered at 0.5%. That's it. Claire asks, has there ever been a time in history where the government was for the people? Yes. Right when America was founded in 1775, was it 1774, 75? Was it 1775? Oh my goodness gracious. Can't believe I'm Googling this. 1776. The reason why I say 75 is it was founded on July 4th in 76, but it was kind of already founded 74, 75. But you could say, Claire, that in 1776, let's just say for shits and giggles, yes, for about 1 year, the government was for the people. You had a good 12 months of true, real freedom. Real freedom. About a year. That's that. And I believe I talked with Russell about that too. It's immediately the Crown came in and started doing deals with the Native Americans and were bypassing us, and they were smart. They were smarter than us. We were smart. We came up with the Constitution and we knew what they were going to do, these tricks. But the only thing keeping us, even alive right now is an illusion that we are still a company based on, or a country based on the Constitution, but we never have been. Washington, D.C. rewrote a constitution for us, took out a few words that instead of it saying for the people, it's just they changed the wording, took the word for out and changed the word, to something else. Edge is like, well, I hope they enjoyed it for that year. Well, here's the thing, man. When you're a company and you're growing, you've got a great product and there's no competition, you will garner the attention of bigger companies out there that will go to your company and start spying on it. They will have people ask for jobs that were hired from the other company, the ones that don't like you, the ones that want to take over your money stream. And they commit espionage, spying. And then they start setting that company up for failure so that they will sell out to a bigger company. You see, if you're a company and you want to make it, you want to go out there, the worst thing you can do is go to trade shows because you are opening yourself up to competition. Competition will destroy you. And they've done it to others. Why would they not do it to you? Any percentage of their business gets lost to you, it's considered war. Now, think of the same thing as countries. When we left and we started America, we started going to all the trade shows and we started going, look at us, we're growing. We've got the #1 product on the market. We're the best. Guess what happened? England said, I don't think so. They took us over. That's just how it is. And it's always been that way. And this is why too big to fail corporations have their own armies. Now, it's not like they have tanks and stuff like that. No. But they've got people that are armed. And they have jobs. And their jobs is to infiltrate competition and kill people who are working on certain, advancements in their competitors' product. Believe it or not, it's not like when you start a company and you make it rich and nobody wants to come after you. That's such a lie. It's very dangerous to start a company and you make over $1 million. It is dangerous because you live in a fallen world where the enemy, if you are not prepared for any competition to come in and hack your system, you don't understand your enemy. And it's the same thing with countries. You see, it's amazing that some of these little countries are still able to, fend themselves off of the greed machine from the United Nations. And they've been doing this over and over and over since the beginning of time. If you have a farm next to another farm, and if you have more cows than the farm that's next to you, because the Bible says, don't covet. The farmer next to you has less cows, wants more cows. And when they find out that they can't do it on their own, they start plotting. And this is all throughout the Bible. And this is what's called bearing false witness. This is where the one with the less cattle goes to the police and say he saw his neighbor raping someone. They'll go to the even in the depths of it to convince a person that they got raped by that person just to put him in jail and get rid of the competition. And on top of that, buy him out so he can pay for his attorney fees. Say, dude, I'll cover everything. Just give me half. And, but that's the thing. And it's all throughout the Bible. It's war is happening all around you. You just don't see it because it's on paper. Cities and counties and states, they do the exact thing to their neighbors. You don't see it. They don't talk about it because if you do talk about you stealing from another county and you're the mayor or you're the chief of that county or sheriff and you're stealing from another county, if the public gets word of it, you're going to jail. But they do this stuff all behind the scenes. And this is how we have operated since the beginning of time. Nobody is just satisfied with what they have. And the Bible talks about that. People want and they want and they want. And that's why King David said, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Meaning, I shall not want anything. Everything is already provided for me. I don't need anything because God has provided it for me. Wisdom is recognizing the world before you is evil and it wants you dead. And wisdom is finding ways to stay alive and under the radar. You see, starting a militia and going after the federal government is not wise. You don't have enough resources, money, food to go after the military-industrial complex. Now, you could take over a city. That could be done easily. You just walk into the Capitol, you arm it, put barracks up around it, and you defend it. Everything that comes out of that, because you're in control of it, you're the pirate, you took it over, you are signing decrees. And because you're in the office, people have to listen to you. But if the people don't, and if you don't give them a good enough reason to buy into why they did it, your local National Guard will come in and chew you up. That's how it is. Now, Iran. Remember when I told you guys that Iran is controlled both by Russia and by Israel? Is that bizarre? Is that weird? Well, look it up. The northern part of Iran is goods, products, oil, that type of a money machine. The southern part of Iran is agricultural, and that's the part where the Mossad actually controls through MI6 and the CIA. North and South Iran has always been divided, but they've never put it on paper that they are two countries. And the reason being is because Russia and the Mossad or Russia and Israel, are both using Iran for their benefit. Some say that Iran is using both Russia and the Mossad because that's the heart of where the Khazars came from. But I believe it's the other way around. And the Ayatollah in the north, they listen to what Russia says, and whoever's in control of the south, which I don't know, they do whatever the Mossad says. So it's the perfect way for America and Russia as the superpowers to use a country as a boogeyman to intercept other countries and then have the other country come in to help, and they destroy it all. And in comes Dick Cheney with Halliburton, who restores it and charges them for it. That's exactly what happened in Iraq. Believe me, the moment you hear a little country is getting a McDonald's, that government has given it up. All of their resources, all of their gold, everything has been given to the Jesuits. It's over. I wish that Russia would stop playing games. I wish Putin would take off his Jesuit bracelet. I wish that he's wearing it just as a joke, just to make people think he's Jesuit, but they're actually opposite. But if you look at the aggression towards Russia from Ukraine, I don't understand why Russia wouldn't just take Ukraine and just that's it. Once they seal it, close off Ukraine's borders, go after all of the NATO that was inside it, blow them up, NATO won't do shit. They're waiting for America, or they're waiting for Russia to declare war on America or NATO. If Russia goes in, like they did with Crimea, they're not going to do anything. So that's a clue to us that Putin is in agreement with this game of flirting with World War III. But in reality, behind the scenes, it's just not going to happen. Now, Israel apparently has destroyed half of Hezbollah's arsenal. Well, who gives a shit? Hezbollah is the Mossad. Not all of them. A lot of them are freedom fighters who think they're fighting for the good guys, when in fact they're being used. There's nothing like a great game of chess where you have pawns in the front. The king and queen are in the back and in the middle, protected at all sides. The pawns are the first to go. And the pawns are the ones who don't know that the king and queen are working with the king and queen on the other side. And they're playing a game where they profit off of the people. And this is not anything new. There's nothing new under the sun. This all has happened before. It's been recorded. And the elite are just going off of history, using drugs and electromagnetic frequency devices to steer and change your opinion. I do believe that if you accept Jesus Christ and the Holy Ghost and you build a relationship with him, they together will break those signals away from you. Turn you into a natural Faraday cage by helping you digest something on earth that steers it away from them. Like this product, ElitePotion.com. Or God has you just buy a crystal for some reason. It's a beautiful crystal. It's gorgeous, and you wear it, and it just so happens to harness all of the electromagnetic frequencies into it, and it goes away from you. Something like that. Now, I'm not talking about getting in a new age. I'm just talking God will steer you towards the elements that you need in your body or externally to shield you from this shit. He's not going to supernaturally change your body. He's going to whisper, like the Holy Ghost does, and tell you that this substance needs to be in your body. Could be like greens or whatever. We're still open up to Q&A, guys. If you want to ask a question, I will answer it to the best of my ability. So another hurricane is coming. Wouldn't surprise me if it goes in the same path and same direction because they need more water to mine, believe it or not, the spodumene belt. And I gave you guys a little bit of a history about what that's all about and lithium and how lithium has started in the 60s and grew into the 80s and 90s. Started with lithium-ion batteries, and now it's straight lithium batteries. And the volatile market, but it keeps climbing up. And now we have a lithium war between Chile, Australia, China, America, and Canada. And they're all creating huge holes in the earth. Holes so big that it's impossible to fill in. It would cost more money to fill those holes in than not. Does that make sense? You've got to see these holes that I've seen in like Africa, diamond mines, these holes that they made. They're unreal. And when I say a hole, it's not even a hole. It's bigger than the Grand Canyon. And the whole area where that hole is turning into a desert because it's not sustainable. And the irony is this whole sustainable thing. You know what? The elites like Klaus Schwab and all them, they never talk about lithium mining. They're like, we'll bypass that. We just want to get rid of oil. No questions, huh? Well, I'm shocked. So, I hope I made a case to you guys tonight about the North Carolina flooding and the lithium and quartz mines there and how they literally flooded the spodumene belt with, what do you call that again? That's sodium polyacrylate. Sodium polyacrylate. And apparently they had all the right stuff to do it. They flooded it. The dirt is wet. Perfect time to go in and start mining. And there you have it. This has been Cause Before Symptom. I'm your host, James Carner. Tune in tomorrow night when I have something else to say, I have no idea what the show is going to be about, go to jamescarner.com and sign up for my newsletter. It's the only way I can get a hold of you if I got shut down here. Also, go to elitepotion.com and buy my product. It supports me and the Girls of the Flame. And it also will save your life one day. And if you could all do me just one favor, if you could, love your neighbor as you love yourself. If we all could just do that. If we all could just love our neighbor, this world would be a better place, I promise. See you tomorrow. God bless.